What's going on YouTube? Ferocity here, and this is going to be a much more serious video than normal. As you can tell by the title of this video, we're going to be talking about the George Floyd situation in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We're going to be talking about what the police officers did to him, talk about the protests that followed, and now where we're at with riot and looting. I'm absolutely disgusted by what these police officers did. When you become a police officer, isn't your job to serve and protect people? Not to murder them in cold blood and watch as your fellow policeman does it? George Floyd was not armed with a gun. Sure, was he doing something bad? I guess so. Maybe. How do we even know? A lot of times police officers just act on impulses because they feel they're above the law. There is a real problem in the United States with police officers. Now, this does not apply to all police officers, but hey, we're talking about this all the time, with police officers overstepping their boundaries all the time. It's clearly a problem, there is a pattern, and we cannot keep turning a blind eye to it. Now, the big issue here was the fact that the police officer who held his knee to George Floyd's neck was white, and George Floyd is African American. Problem number one. Problem number two, two police officers were holding George Floyd's arms down. Problem number three, a fourth police officer was there. Yeah, instead of saying, guys, we start going a little too far here, he just watched and let the entire thing happen. How on earth do you do that? How do you look at somebody, regardless of what they're doing, regardless of what they're doing, watch a guy supposedly supposed to be getting arrested be murdered in cold blood with your partner's knee to his neck, choking him out, and you can just stand there and say, this is completely fine. This is completely fine. Whether you want to believe this was racially fueled or not, that's fine if you want to believe it wasn't. I choose to believe it was, because there's way too many incidences. There is way too much for this to just be a coincidence of white police officers overstepping their boundaries on African Americans or minorities. It's insane. But regardless of that, the fact that you look at somebody and you're like, just because you broke the law, you do not deserve to live, and I'm going to take that right to life away from you. I don't know much about George Floyd's life. Honestly, I don't want to read about it because I don't want to get depressed. What if this man was a father? What if this man was soon to be a father? What if he had the love of his life? What if he was about to meet her? What if destiny was for him to meet the girl of his dreams that he's going to procreate with, make great, awesome children? His children were going to do great things. You just robbed the world of his children. I don't know. Maybe I'm glorifying it a bit. Regardless of that fact, maybe he was a Twins fan. Maybe he wanted to see the Twins win a World Series. Yeah, you won't be able to do that. Hell, you won't even be able to breathe another breath on this planet because you decided to take that away from him. How dare you? How dare police officers, how dare people believe they can dictate other people's lives like this? Your job as a police officer is to serve and protect. Yeah. I'm sure George Floyd felt very served and protected when he was being held down by three guys and choked to death by someone's knee. Yeah, makes him hate white people a lot less if he was ever racially fueled. Yeah, definitely makes the white community look great, eh? White man literally holding down the black man with a knee to his neck. Yeah, that doesn't show any symbolism at all on how terribly we treat people of the African American community. Absolutely disgusting. And the fact that this would have all slid under the radar in the 90s. How this almost would have slid all under the radar if it wasn't caught on camera. These four men deserve to be in jail. They deserve to be tried as murderers because that's what they are. That's the only justice left for George Floyd. That's the only justice left for him. Is that these four men see a jail cell. That's the only way. Yeah, real justice would be George here with us now. He won't be. No, he won't. You took that away from him because you felt that the power that that badge and gun give you meant more than that man's life. Your ego was too big to just, regular cuff a guy. There were 4 of you there. The fact that one guy could slip out of 4 cops, you guys must have been pretty bad police officers if that happened. Shame on you. Ugh, absolutely disgusting. Horrible human beings. How you can look at a fellow human, like, who cares your race, man? Who cares? You're a human being. Treat him with respect and dignity. I don't freaking care. It bothers me so much because in a time like right now with everything going on with global pandemic, like we should be coming together. Instead, more fuel to the fire to make us more divisive. It's absolutely disgusting. I have friends who are police officers and they're wonderful people. They're wonderful people. But people like this make everybody else's view on police officers so jaded and so negative. It bothers the living crap out of me. Because so many people like these 4 ruin it for everybody else. These guys are egotistical maniacs who think it's completely okay to do these things. I wonder if any of them have reflected on this at all, other than the fact that they may lose their jobs. Oh no. Oh no. A woman lost her job for choking her dog earlier this week. You guys choked a man to death and one of you sat there and watched completely okay with it. I'm sure she's regretting the dog thing. I sure as fuck hope you guys are regretting just standing idly by. I'm so frustrated by this. So disgusted by this, man. How can you do that to a person? How can you do that? How could you go to bed the night after doing that and be okay with yourself? Sure. There's times where you have to take another man's life as a police officer, and that's got to be hard to deal with. Yeah. There are times, those are situations where you are serving and protecting the greater good of the community. This isn't one of those times. You didn't have to do this. You didn't have to do this. A man's last words should not be, "I can't breathe." It's absolutely disgusting. The protests in Minneapolis. Man, good on you guys. Go to the streets. Make sure your voice is heard. The only way we change this systemic problem with police brutality or the authoritarianism of the police state in the United States is by protesting, is by using our voice, is by making YouTube videos, Twitter rants, going on Instagram Live, talking about this, making sure that these types of things do not get silenced. Making sure that murderers do not go free. The same way that this man, George Floyd, was murdered by a police officer, I would hope you would show be in the same situation if another man died. Show as much justice to George Floyd as you would to anybody else who has been tried for murder before. Want that justice for George Floyd because that's the only thing we have left. That's what you should be out protesting. That's what you should be out doing. Is to make sure these 4 men see the inside of a jail cell. That's what this is about. That's what you're protesting. I, however, condemn these riots, these looters, people who are destroying public property. No. That's not how you get the message across that what happened was wrong. No. This only further divides people from the police officers. We need to come together in a situation like this. But no. Riots and looting is not how we bring memory and have justice for George Floyd. That's not how we do this. I condemn anybody who thinks it's okay to riot and loot. I fear for the people in Minneapolis that are afraid of leaving their houses because they don't want to go to Target and all of a sudden have a bunch of looters there, have a bunch of people rioting. That's scary. If you want to serve true justice for a man that died in cold blood from a police officer who was meant to serve and protect that man, peacefully protest. Go to the police stations. Stand outside. Make sure your voice is being heard. Don't go in there trashing public property. Don't go around wrecking fellow men, hurting them, just because some injustice occurred. What happened to George Floyd is terrible, and I wouldn't want to wish that upon anyone. But you do not solve a problem by looting and rioting. It does not work. Protest your ass off. Make sure your voice is heard. Go across the country if you have to. Your voice will only get continued to silence. The authoritarianism will only increase. Our police state will only get higher. The more you riot, the more you loot. The more the establishment's going to push back and say, we have to regulate these guys. If you show them that we can band together, be peaceful, join for one common goal, they can't stop that. They won't be able to. Let's do it for George Floyd. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.